Good morning to you.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And more importantly, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Someone's having a birthday.
Okay, we've talked about this. It's just, I think from the holidays, I'm all like, shh, quiet. Let's not talk about it.
When you
Enough
were a
about
kid, were you like
me.
that? Were you like
Huh?
that as a kid too? Or were you like, I get screwed every year because my birthday comes right after Christmas and everybody doesn't want to talk about it?
I think I get both. I get both where I am. I like, yeah, I'm always an afterthought, but and then the other part is like, I don't like a lot of tension. So it's like I
Right.
can't have it both ways.
I don't want
I
the
just like,
attention. No one thinks of me. I don't like to be in the public eye. No one cares.
yeah, like low key, like here's a gift or something of that sort, but nothing where it's like, let's make a big deal. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't, I really have a hard time. I mean, it's taken me a long time to get where I am, where I can just talk in front of people. Keep in mind, I was when I was little, I didn't speak. I was super shy, like crazy introverted. And like I didn't talk to my piano teacher the first year I went to lessons with her.
Dude, I had no idea you were like that.
I
I
was
mean,
extremely shy.
you've always been more quiet,
Mhm.
obviously. And
Not
then
not Heather quiet, but quiet.
quiet. And I can remember when we were younger, you going out and stuff, and we would go out. We would spend hours getting ready. So we would trash the entire like room. Everything would be out, clothes, makeup, jewels, the whole shit and bit. And
To
then
find the one outfit that will give me confidence and make me feel better.
right. And then and then we wouldn't even get there till whatever, like if something started at 7, we'd get there at like 9:30 because that's
11.
how long it took to find the right piece. And
Right?
then if we would go to a bar or something, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember like walking in, I mean, we're like done. And you're like, okay, let's go find a table in the corner where no one can see us. I'm like, what? You kidding me? We've just like, I'm exhausted from the amount of work that has gone into the way I look right now. God damn it, someone's got to see me for the 1 hour that's left of this function. Mm-hmm.
That just sums me up in a nutshell. That was just to get me out the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
and then, all right, okay, let's go.
We would be there for like an hour and, in the corner. And then,
No, but we would go in the corner and then men would find you. And then you're like, and that was the last I would see of you. You'd be on the dance floor the entire time or wherever we were at. And I'd be all like, I'm perfectly comfortable in the corner. Baby likes being in the corner.
remember that. I do. Of course, I don't remember that part. And would find you, and then you'd be gone. I was like, I'm over here. I'm in the corner. Come find me. No,
Then,
I do remember. Hold on, just a sec. I got to. For some reason now, my nose is running. I'm so whipped up. My nose is running. No, I do remember being on the dance floor. Us. Do you remember that? Like going
yeah,
out.
I mean, I was okay with like it if there was like a group of us, like, but
Right.
like if it were just like me, no, I'd be.
Yeah, I didn't care.
Mhm.
I wasn't the person though that danced in the mirror. Like, remember, there's always that one girl that like finds a mirror and watches herself dance in the mirror. If you're the girl that danced in the mirror and you're watching us right now, don't be offended. We're proud of you. Okay.
Yeah,
I
you
just,
had the guts that none of us have ever like
yes, I could
worked
never
up to.
do that. I couldn't do that. So if you're that girl, don't freak out. We're proud of you. I just
I know,
couldn't.
we're just like, we strive to be you.
Yeah, we strive to be you. I would still though like practice the running man and shit on the side.
I'm like, no.
No. All right. Okay. So real fast, we haven't been on for a while. I know that's shocking even to us because life has blown up just like you guys, life's blown up for us. And we said that we weren't going to make this a burden, right? We wanted to do these conversations with our besties in the way that would be organic and happy. With that said, it's time for us to get our shit together. Okay. So if you like what you see and you listen, a lot of you guys are saying that whoopsie, that was a little background noise. We're taking our Christmas tree down and our beagle just climbed up a bunch of boxes and just learned that that's not a stable environment. But anyway, okay. So if you like what you see, if you are listening to us, a lot of you are saying that you just throw us on in the background and do whatever it is you do, whether it's work or clean the house, which, hey, we're happy, we're excited. Hit the like button, hit the bell button, because that's a notification, and please subscribe. We're so grateful that our crazy nonsense minds, wild things that go through our head is also going through yours. So we're glad it helps you and it helps us because now we know we're relevant. We're not losing our crap. With that in mind, I do want to say, going back to what Crystal said at her birthday and all that stuff in January, and that's really what our topic is going to be about, is January, the new year. So I will tell you, I'm the same way. Of course, my birthday isn't in January. My birthday is at the beginning of this. My birthday is in October. And so my birthday is the beginning of the, well, I don't know what we should call this, the ramp up of the holiday season. It's like it's on. And actually my girls are the end of September. So we'll say that that's them, right? And it's go, 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 go. Everything from events, work events, to personal events, to holiday stuff, to, and I find myself in January, I'm under the covers till February. I don't want to know about nothing. I'm very upset that my Christmas decorations are being taken down right now, because I live Christmas out until February, honestly, because I feel like I've been run over. Like I need to come back from what's happened in the last 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, I think it's like too, like I use January as a recovery from the year before. So January for me is my solitude and my recovery time for 2023.
Right.
I mean, for my recovery time for 2022, and also kind of like where I just need to process and set my, what's my wish list, or what are my goals for January. I don't like to do like new year, new me bullshit.
Right.
And it might work for other people. For me, it doesn't. I hate calling them resolutions as well. I just feel like I set myself up for failure.
Right. Well, and the whole thing about resolution, I'm resolute to change in the new you. I don't know that, and I feel the same way. First of all, and I've said this before, if you got to wait until January, if you've been miserable since June and you're waiting until January, come now, come. And the other thing I was going to say about that is that I don't, and a lot of times I don't make goals and stuff until June, by the way. Like
June's your month?
Yeah, that's when I kind of make goals for myself. And, with that said though, I'll shift. But I think what happens is in the holiday season, right, when fall comes, everything just is like on, like things just go on fire. And I think that maybe that's probably the reason that people wait till January or whatever, but I don't. I don't like resolutions, in the sense that the same thing. I don't like anybody telling me what I have to do and what I can't have, including myself. I don't like being put on a strict leash in any way, again, even if I did it myself. And also the new you as if you've been a piece of shit this whole time, right? Like, I just think that's ridiculous.
Right.
But improvements or things you'd like to change, or maybe things that, or, goals for you going forward, that's different, right? So
Right.
for some reason this year, I don't know why, I was inspired to do things in January, in terms of goals and setting and things that I'd like to see for myself professionally and personally this year. I think it's because, to be perfectly honest, when I reflect back on 2022, I think I was sleeping.
You're still recovering from 2020 and 2021.
Yes,
Maybe.
right? Like 2021 and 2020. I mean, for all, and even personally, 2018, like the lead up to that whole thing. And then it was like, balls to the wall. And when I'm really honest with myself, if I look back and like look at all the things that I've been doing and accomplishing and all that I needed I was so burned out in 2022. I was really friggin' burned out.
Well, yeah. I mean, you started your business in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, you've been in the fitness industry, but when you went gung-ho solo right as we were shutting down. So, I mean, you were taking clients here and there on the side, but yeah, you not only dealt with the pandemic, you started business, and then you were trying to navigate a whole bunch of things, like what a business owner, you're wearing so many hats as a business owner, which we all learned that it's not as easy as everyone thinks.
No, but we don't want to scare anybody from it, because that's why I never started it in the first place. But yeah, you're right. It's a lot. It's a lot. And learning everything. And I mean, just like everybody else, I'm harder on myself than everybody.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah,
right.
you are.
I am.
I'm hard on myself. You are like, you're like the strict stepmom.
Oh my God. But only with myself. Although
but on yourself, yeah, not on
Yeah.
anybody else. You give everyone else so much grace except for you.
I know. That's a piece of shit.
I know.
I know. No, but it is true. And then and just like everybody else, I'm still finding the balance, right, between
where's that sweet spot?
Right? Where is that sweet spot? And I just think with the kids and their things and my thing and me, I just think 2022 was just about and quite frankly, the more I'm looking back on it, I feel like 20 and 21, all that crap was, yes, there was awakening of myself. It's true, but it was more on a professional level. And I feel like maybe 2022 was a time when I stepped back and on a personal level was really able to kind of get in and get in there. Do you know what I mean? Without that wasn't what I had anticipated, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah, because I think there was, again, I do think there's a little bit of a reset that you it's inevitable whenever you're trying to set goals and then see if the path that you're towards that goal is working.
Right.
So,
right.
There you go.
There.
And then, of course, and then, fucking tired.
So fucking tired. And the other thing that we don't talk a lot about is the impact that COVID-19 had on us. Not just everybody's talking about, the emotional piece to COVID-19, no doubt. But the physical piece to COVID-19, I don't think people talk about. If you ended up getting COVID-19, especially its first incarnation back in the day, you're walking around with some crazy shit right now. Like, God. Right? Yeah. Like, I don't feel like I'm fully, when I got, that was like, looking back on that, and I'm sure it was the same for you. We got it within a couple months of each other, and there was the fear factor of getting it, but then there was getting it. You're like, you're doing your life still. You might be in quarantine, but we're like running at it. You get hit with COVID-19. And like, for me anyway, the first week I was like, what's wrong? I have a sinus infection. And then I find out I have COVID, but for us, it was like this 5-week thing. but it's turned into years of shit
Mhm.
that they
Long-term
didn't
side
know.
effects for
The
me.
side effects, right? And
Mhm.
I have never fully come back from it, I don't think, on a physical and an emotional level. Let's put it, no,
Mm.
a mental level. I don't believe I'm as mentally um sharp as I was before I got COVID. That little fucker's living in my brain causing shit. That's all I'm saying.
It it took me I hadn't I don't know if it was, I think it was a lot of things. It was also like extreme burnout. I had been
Oh yeah.
working a job, a job for 27, 28 years, plus starting my business at the same time. And then kids, exchange students, and then I moved my parents in. So by the time, I mean, I was so burned out by the time COVID came. And then when we shut down, it was like the first month, I couldn't stop sleeping. And I'm not one to sleep. Everyone that knows me knows I don't sleep. And
Crystal don't sleep.
and
That's
when
gonna
I
be on
got
your, hey,
huh?
that's gonna be on your tombstone. Here lies
Finally, you
Crystal.
finally get to rest.
You finally get to rest. At least in this world. She'll be
Well,
up, she'll be up in heaven just like
uh-huh.
fucking shit up there. She'll be turning St. Peter on his head. But down here, the rest of us.
We're like, ooh, now we can breathe. Now I can get a break.
there's times I swear to God, I'm like in the line at the grocery store. Ding ding, my phone's like blowing up. I'm like, oh, that's just Crystal. She had a thought. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't usually share the thought though until like I've like mulled over it and thought about the direction, the branding.
The whole thing, which is why it's multiple detailed texts. It's awesome. I think you're awesome. You know, I think
Oh,
you're awesome. Oh my God, come on. I wish I had half of your shit. I do. I do. I say that to everybody. I wish I had some of Crystal. You know,
oh
I
my
would rule
God.
the world.
But you do. Well, like, but you do. Your energy and your outgoingness and all that stuff is like the other counterpart of me, the wishful
I
side of
sleep.
me.
I do sleep. And I appreciate everyone. You guys, you need to understand that when I'm with Crystal, Crystal lets me sleep. Crystal's out there running the world for 7 hours, and I'm like this.
And then I'm like, "Hi, honey. Are you awake?"
Yeah, she's so sweet with me. Because literally, and then I'm like drool down me.
I'm just like, I'll sleep over here. You and Maria are sleepers, so you guys can sleep away. I'll wake up and do my work and drink my coffee, not disturb you guys in your
She's
restful
good.
state.
She's good. At some point, though, she does have to make noise because Maria and I probably would have slept for 48 hours.
Yeah.
Maria, you guys were talking about when we were in Paris. At one point, Crystal started banging and making noises because she had to. It was like, no.
Mhm. At this point, I'm
At
like,
this point, right? And Maria and I are like, and like Maria's like, what time is it? I'm like, oh my God, it's 11. She's like, we're the worst.
well,
Anyway,
I looked over at both of you, and you both like, because you guys are across the room, and then you like, I hear this collective sigh from both of you, like, and then like you guys both flipped over into different directions, and I'm like, well, that's probably going to be another hour or so.
we're tired. We're
We're
tired.
tired.
Tired. I get retired. I'm worried about retirement. I won't be sleeping. And actually, we just talked, we're totally off topic, but there's a shock. So we just talked about it. So Crystal, so again, because Crystal runs on Everready. So last night, like, I don't even know what time it was your time, but I know it was late my time.
It
She
was
was
about,
editing.
yeah,
Yeah, right. Like you were
like
editing.
yeah, 8 or 9 o'clock, I think, my time.
Yeah. So, which is way late for me. So, but we had gone to a play in Pittsburgh and the weather was really crappy and the roads were really hideous. And so anyway, and we had no
Mhm,
food. So we happened to be at Applebee's, the three,
mhm.
me and the two kids. And she's sending over all of these edits of the Paris trip. And her biggest response is, how come she's answering me back? Because swear to God, if I'm not in bed by like, if I'm not in bed, I'm thinking about bed. Like everything is about getting to bed. I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about how the fuck I'm getting back to bed.
I'll be back, baby.
Yeah. It's so, I'll miss you. It's so hard for us to part. And I literally think about my day all day long. I'm like, can I get back in at this time? Would I be? And then I'm literally like, fuck. And then I have to make a new friend. Coffee. And then me and coffee have intimate relationships all day. Okay. We're totally off topic. What the hell were we saying? What is this about?
I'm trying to think now. Here we go.
It's about handling new goals and all that.
Oh God, yeah.
By the way, already poo-pooed. I think everybody pretty much already knows we don't do that shit.
No, we don't. I can't. I do goal setting, yes. But now it's more so like, what gift am I going to give myself this year?
Ooh, that I like.
And it's not like a physical gift. You know what I mean? It has to be like, what am I going to reward myself with? Is it more time? Is it going somewhere new? But it's something like that rather than changing something about myself. I might say like, okay, I want to be more flexible this year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because I like I said, and what we both agree on is that New Year's resolutions are about like, it almost feels like you hate yourself.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, like we're pieces of crap, and that isn't it at all.
No, and we're flooded with. I feel like I need to share. You guys, this is the second time we're trying to record this because we recorded it the first time and I failed to find it anywhere in the laptop. So if it ever shows up again, you'll know. But this is our second time. So
no, this is our third time because remember we did it way back, and then I lost my computer died.
Your computer died. That's right. Oh my God, we haven't been on for a while. Holy shit. Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, it wasn't for the New Year's. Like, we were just going to talk about like fitness and getting like on the bandwagon, not bandwagon, but how do you get started? And yeah. And I think that's still relevant, and we will introduce that as well. But I think it comes in more for you and me. It's always about what's going on with us and our conversations. And so it's like, okay, yeah, it's important to both of us. We both set our schedules to move and improve on either our flexibility or like our cardio time. Like,
right.
I don't want to be winded walking around Paris.
Right.
So I think when we say things like that, like when we apply fitness to, and that has always been your approach, period, as a coach. And I think that's why it was really important that I wanted to bring up the topic. And it's opportune now too, because again, like you said, people are beating themselves up and thinking they have to do all these changes. And it's just, you can ease into it.
You can ease into it. And you're right about like, so, and one of the reasons I can speak to it is because I did it. I've lived my life like that. And
yes. Oh my God. Right? Yes. I remember you in college, like,
right? Like
you would eat. Okay. This is Heather. And all the guys at work would talk about it too.
I know that's horrifying, but okay. I know.
There'd be all like, the girl ate a fistful of cereal and she's beating herself up over it, or
yeah, I was. Well, and for anybody that's listening that has known me, when I was in high school, I went through a period of time when I was, it was my junior and senior year. I had gained so much weight, and I was really heavy. And
was that hormones, or do you think that was from that trauma that you had?
I think it was probably both. I think it was both because I look at my daughters and did the same thing, but also I think it was a combination. I think that I would have put on weight because of the trauma, but I also think instead of gaining, let's say 20 pounds, I gained 50. Do you know what I mean? Because what we learned was I have endometriosis, like all of these things were happening, and a thyroid condition and all this. But I learned this years later. At the time, I'm just the fat girl. And I have wonderful friends in high school, wonderful teachers in high school, wonderful, that never talked to me like I was the fat girl. But we all know I was the fat girl.
And I'm like fat in your eyes, but not necessarily in anybody else's, though. Because I'm looking at some of your high school pictures that you post every now and then, and I'm like, we'd all aspire to be that thin.
Well, now because we're like, 50, but when you are a teenager and everyone around you is 120 pounds, 110 pounds, and then we're getting all this information about BMIs and how you need to be, especially in the late 80s and early 90s. Right. And here I am. I turned into, when I was 13, I was getting breasts, like I was a size B. By the time I was 15, 16, I was a double D. I had turned it, and my kids did the same thing. Like we go into puberty and then we turn 40 2 years later, right? Like we get our 40-year-old bodies. and
here you go. Welcome to womanhood.
Yeah, here it is. And my son too. My son, I always tell him he looks like a Ukrainian drug lord. And especially when he doesn't shower.
Okay, real quick though, that reminds me of when I was on jury duty. Like you're like Ukrainian drug lord. I was on federal. I had to serve federal jury duty, and so I was involved. I had to sit in 2 weeks on a Russian pharmaceutical Medi-Cal drug fraud thing. And, in the movies, you always think, oh, that's a stereotype of like the Russians or the Germans and stuff. I was scared.
Wait, and here's the deal. After all those years of telling him that, I had Sydney bought me the DNA ancestry thingy for Mother's Day last year. And guess what? We're Ukrainian. I was right. Like I had no fucking idea. He is a thug. No, I don't know.
So he can add that to his portfolio, his acting portfolio, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So when we say we stand with Ukraine, oh, we do. but at any rate, going back. So I had a lot of emotional things with my body, right? That didn't really have anything to do with anything other than what I perceived. And not all of it my fault, right? And we blame the media, but that generation too, my parents were all in, my everybody around me, the ones that I loved, were all in with that. Doctors, I can remember going to the doctor and
same.
Yeah, like everything was, you're only as good as how much you weigh on the scale, and this, that, and the next thing. And here I am, I'm, and I know a lot of people are listening that I know from high school. And I was I could tear up about my high school years because I was the luckiest girl in the world, I think, as many of us were, to have the friends and teachers that we had and the opportunities that we had. We just lost our beloved Mr. Matthews. He was our theater teacher. Beloved. They were wonderful. Like I just was so blessed with that. With that said, though, coming, to be a 17, 18-year-old, well, I wasn't, I graduated early. So a 16, 17-year-old girl, going through something like that. And I had great grades. I'm in, great classes. I'm, winning awards for things. And I'm, in theater. And I mean, there's just so much to be happy and proud of. ASB, all of these wonderful opportunities. And yet at the end of the day, all I could think about was, I'm no good because I'm fat.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how we like I was talking to Crystal, who owns Lucy's Boudoir, and she and I were talking about how we both get women in both our respective businesses, and you meet so many accomplished women and they're beating themselves up and they can only focus on that one minuscule flaw.
Yes.
Like she said she gets a lot of the bra fat kind of deal, so therefore I'm not accomplished or anything of that sort. And I get the I don't look like her, I don't have a perfect body, but I'm
Right.
a lawyer and I speak 5 languages. So it's interesting. And we can say it till we're blue in the face to all our friends and clients and so forth. But then are we following the walk and talk with ourselves?
No, we're really not. And
Mm,
I can say that I've come a long way that way. And when you talk
mm,
about like how it was, so I graduated high school and I went on this
mm,
like strict, crazy diet. Like and I can tell you I was on 700-800 calories a day. I can tell you
mm,
that legit. Because I was so fearful and I had lost 80 pounds and, and then I had taken it to the extreme because my body type doesn't support 115 frame.
mm,
And that's what I was trying to get to. Right. So, and I know I'm not alone on this.
mm,
And so, I had a very unhealthy relationship with food. I had an unhealthy relationship with body image because like we were just saying though, so when we talk about body image, it's not really body image we're talking about. We're talking about a false sense of self,
mm,
right? If you are this most accomplished person, my daughter's going through it. My daughter is a fucking amazing girl.
mm,
Everyone should know Sydney.
mm,
She is talented, kind,
mm,
loving. She's very much like me in the sense that she was a mother at the age of, I won't say 5 because she was a handful of 5, but we'll say by the time she was in high school, she was everyone's mom.
mm,
And she has battled so much in her personal life in terms of her health and stereotypes because of her health.
mm,
She's missed opportunities. People have been shitty towards her because she has an autoimmune disease and they think she's lazy. I mean, I could go for days. She has dyslexia. This child has worked. If it takes somebody 1 hour to do something, it could take Sydney 7 hours to do it, and she'll do it.
mm.
So here she is now. She's in college, and she has these. It's ridiculous the things this girl is doing and does. And at the end of the day, what do you think she thinks about? Her weight.
Mm.
And she's gorgeous,
God, yeah. I
you
mean,
know,
saw how she killed that shoot. Oh my God.
she's stunning.
Mhm,
So, but this is what we do, right? So, and then to capitalize on that, the fitness industry it's like multi-billion-dollar industry. They
mhm,
know. So January comes and they're like, "Hey, Fatso, you worthless piece of shit! Look at this girl. She just
mhm,
dropped 100 pounds on my program. This guy, he was a piece of shit. Now look at him. He's living life and loving life, and everybody loves him. Buy my program, you piece of shit. You scum.
you schlub.
You lazy piece of shit. Why don't you put in another Frito in your asshole mouth? Go ahead. And so that's where it's coming from.
Right?
And and now they're starting because people are getting pissed. Finally, years later,
Finally. Mhm,
finally. Now it's okay, let's improve your health. Let's do this, which I am all about, right? Like
mm,
that's what you should be doing. Now I learned this now. I'm 53. Um, that's what it should be about.
mhm,
And when you do that, now you're not setting yourself up to fail with these crazy diets of restriction. And I always did restriction. It was all about punishing my bad, dirty, lazy self.
mhm,
Okay. Right. I can't have any more chips because I'm a lazy piece of shit. God damn me.
mhm,
So now I learned, okay, this isn't what this is about. This is really just about trying to live my best life, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm a clothes hog. I'm not going to lie. I'd like to fit into things. Funny that way.
Mhm.
And I want to feel good. I want to get up and down on the floor. I have kids. I want to, there's things I want to go to Paris. Like, getting up and down off the floor is overrated.
Oh
I
my
should
God. Like,
underrated.
Christmas comes around and you just think about all the mountain of gifts that you wrap. And I'm like a big stickler about wrapping gifts. I'm not a gift bag kind of gal. I
How am I not surprised? Anyway, go ahead. No, no,
but
I'll
it's
like
like
slap a fucking
once,
ball on something and go, here, bitch, open it.
yeah. And that was the thing too. It's like, why is like gift wrapping a physical sport? So it's like when I started doing more functional stuff, you know, and I always go back to like Pilates and stuff or walking, that stuff, like gift wrapping wasn't as like treacherous for me. Like you get off, I can get off the floor. I'm not sore from like doing these weird like bends and stretches because I've taken care of that part.
Right.
Not necessarily. And again, Pilates, when I started, it wasn't a goal to get thin for me. I just like I had heard about core imbalance and I was falling all over the place and I was just getting tired of it. I was getting tired of doing the physical therapy, the masseuses, the chiropractor, and that was my life. And I thought, okay, it was looking bleak when you
Yeah.
have to get all this added care just to do your day or survive your week. So I'm like, well, what can I do? And then you hear other people saying like blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to be the body type or anything of that sort that you think of like with Pilates or bar or yoga. They're all wafy,
Right.
blah blah blah. But when I went to the studio, a lot of them were like my age, like they were in their 40s and 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Every once in a while I encounter a young gal and I'm like, good for her starting early and knowing this is a good thing to do at that age. I mean,
Right.
don't wait till it's too late like I did. When you start falling all over the place.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna like, it's never too late, but yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, right. I don't think so either. Once I went and then once I got, me introverted self getting out of my head and like everyone's gonna know I'm not knowing and I'm doing and pick me apart kind of deal. I got over that. And then it was more so when they would give us a new exercise or challenge, it was more so like, oh wow, watching myself where in the beginning I couldn't do that and then being able to do that.
Right.
Doing a plank for 3 minutes or something of that sort, something
That's
that.
that's fucking badass. A 3-minute plank.
Mhm. But you know what I mean? It's just neat seeing your progression rather than, I don't know what happens, but you stop comparing yourself. When you can start focusing on how you're getting strong, how you're meeting your needs and goals rather than the comparison or focusing on that excess bra fat or
Right.
um
Right. Years ago, and it was probably, I'm trying to think who taught me this lesson. And I can't remember off, which is unfortunate for the person, but I'm going to give credit to my grandmother,
mhm,
Sylvia, and I'm going to give credit to probably some of my teachers in the past, because this would be totally them. They
mhm,
taught me a long time ago that you should never compete with anybody except yourself.
mhm,
Your only competition is you. And when you compete with yourself, you're never a loser, ever.
mhm,
So, and that's not just in fitness, that's just in general, right? Like
mhm,
that's with everything. I've always been competitive with myself. I'm a competitive person, and I think we've established, but just a little bit. But this much, this much. But at the end of the day, I'm really, it's more about me.
mhm,
It has nothing. I may look at somebody as a benchmark,
mhm,
you know, but for me, it's always about you know, where I started and what I want, what goals, you know, what I want to bust, right?
Mhm.
Like, or whatever. But people don't, you know, and again, I've been in it for years, so I guess I'm jaded, but I have heard, but I've never been in an environment where people are putting other people down for the way they,
Mhm.
you know, what they can and cannot do at a
Right.
gym.
And that's what I was so worried about when I started going to like group fitness, because I was so intimidated. And I found that not to be the case. I was pleasantly surprised, like this, and that's what I think you have to look for as well, is what kind of community are they fostering?
Right.
Um, what kind of community is, or vibe or energy is your trainer or your coach um trying to provide? What kind of setting is she laying out for you, or he's laying out for you?
Right.
Where it's gentle and challenging at the same
Right.
time.
Right. And the other thing too, and we've talked about it, is you need to find something that you like to do. So
Mhm,
like, I don't like, um, lots of things. I can't think of
mhm.
anything right off. That's our timer. Oh, that's our timer. We have like a 15-minute wrap up now. There it is. Okay. We're trying to do the right thing for you people. All right. Now let me put, another 15 minutes on, because we could go all day. We're
We're
ridiculous.
trying to do the right thing.
We're trying to do
Okay.
the right thing. We're trying to do the right thing. So, you know, like, if you know you hate the gym, but you want to get healthier, then don't go to the gym. If you know you hate the treadmill, like, that's what I hate. Like, I cannot stand the treadmill. Just can't. And I don't recommend it for any of my clients for the most part, because most people are out of range, their range of motion. But that's enough said on that. I don't like it at all. So buying a treadmill, bringing it into my house, isn't going to work for me. The same thing with
Mhm,
the Peloton bike. A lot of people love the Peloton. It's great for them. I'm not going to do a Peloton bike. I don't mind biking a little bit, you know, but I'm
mhm,
not, I can't, it's not going to be, it's not something I'm going to be able to stick with. So if you know that about yourself, then
mhm,
don't force yourself to do it. This again,
mhm,
like, one thing I've learned, how I try and manage all this stuff, is to add things instead of
mhm.
take away, right? Like, I started with a life of restriction. I have to do this treadmill. I have to do this because I'm a bad, bad, dirty Cheeto eating pig, you know. And lazy ass,
But I've
bad.
turned over a new leaf.
Turned over a new leaf. Now I have to get on this fucking treadmill. So, because I'm a dirty,
It's
dirty,
happy fucking New Year.
yeah, happy fucking New Year. So, I've learned that that doesn't work.
Mhm.
So, you know, I add things, right?
I
Um,
love that.
yeah, like, that's so, for example, um, I know I'm not eating enough fruits and vegetables. None of us do. Let's be real. Come on.
I
And
do. I love.
I do too. I do too. But I was trying to, like, you know, okay. If you're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, add fruits and vegetables. You know, that's the goal, right? Well, okay, well, I'm going to add more fruit and vegetables to my diet. Not, okay, I have to stop eating Cheetos and I have to stop eating toast and bread and all of these things.
Mhm,
I have to give up booze. I have to quit, you know, like, that that's never, you can do it, but it's not going to last long. And
mhm,
I don't think anybody's going to want to be within 5 feet of you,
mhm.
right? Like, you're like,
Yeah,
oh, it's
you're
over. Oh, look
fun.
at me, I'm so healthy. I'm gonna kill you. So, get out of my face. Look how happy I am. I'm healthy. So yeah, I like to add stuff. And the same thing with exercise. Because if you like, or if you're not exercising at all, and then you're like, I'm gonna I hear this, you guys, every day. That's why I can say it.
I
And I used to
know.
do this stuff. All right. I'm an exercise 5 days a week now. No, you're not. Because I can tell you, if you're, especially if you haven't been exercising, you're gonna die after the first day, maybe the second. So if you can just remember that you're adding things and it's better than it was before, that's a success. Otherwise,
Right, right.
you're a failure. Why are we doing that? Like, and the same is true for everything, not just fitness.
Mhm.
People say, and that's another thing. People will say, I'm going to get up every morning and it's at 5 o'clock in the morning now, and I'm going to exercise. Okay. How do
Have
you
you
do it?
ever woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Right? All of a sudden you're a morning exerciser. That's not going to work. You ain't going to do it. So, and I just had a client. This is a funny story. So he's finding his jam. Okay.
Mhm.
And I go, you guys know I go into people's homes and stuff. So anyway, so we've been doing afternoons, and he's like, the afternoons are tough. Now he's an hour and 15 minutes away from me. He says, I'd like to do the mornings. I go, okay, I can be there for 9. I can make 9 happen. He goes, no, gonna need you around 8. So I tell him, okay, I'll be there at 8:15. And I hate you. I hate you with all of my heart and soul. So I kill myself because I am not a morning person like that, because I'd have to leave here at 7. That means I have to get up at, do the math. So anyway, I'm driving the whole bit. I get there. He lets me in his place. And he looks like he got hit by a truck. And he's walking like this. I get him started in a warm up. We're not working 5 minutes. He looks at me, goes, Heather, this isn't going to work. I can't make mornings happen. And I was like, no shit. But he had to find that out on his own. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so now, but in the beginning, he's like, I want you every morning, blah, 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 blah. He's all excited because this is the hoopla that we hear.
Right,
Like,
right.
oh, if you're a morning exerciser, you must get up with the birds. The early bird gets the worm, but we're really not all dead. Like
No.
literally, there's scientific. I've listened to scientists talking about people are not on the same biorhythm. Some people are literally supposed to be night owls. Some people are literally supposed to be early morning. Some people are supposed to be like that's a thing. But
Mhm.
again, gosh, we keep going into these these molds. It's all or nothing. And it
Mhm.
just shouldn't be. Okay, I don't know what the fuck we were talking about again, but I'm done with that.
Yeah, I think that's again like finding your jam, like you said, realistic, um, adding stuff rather than just changing this complete. And that might work for some people, and sometimes you are in that position where it is a drastic measure. And we're not saying that no one should do that, but
Right.
if
You're
that
right.
is something where it is life altering and you need to get it done, and
Right.
this is the only way it's going to save your life, more power to you. But for the general, like for me and you, we have never been one to like just overnight it. Like,
No, I'm a kicker and screamer on that. I have
Mhm.
tried to do that in the past. And I really give myself a lot of grace in the last few years. And people will say shit like that to me. I'm
Mhm.
like, no,
Mhm.
I warm into things. Like, I'll never do a dry January. I'm sorry, I won't. I may clean it up,
Mhm.
but I'm just not going to be somebody that's going to overnight stop eating bread if I had to, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? Or all of a sudden I'm not drinking anymore. I'm just not going to do it. I may back it down. I may do stuff
Mhm.
like that, but I
I
can't.
make crazy decisions on green tea. So seriously, the alcohol is not going to change it. So
Right.
I can make plenty of bad decisions,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And I don't
Right.
drink a lot to begin with. I mean,
No, you're not a big.
no, I mean,
I drink like the Russian girl I am. When that explain like when I got that DNA test back, I was like, well, that explains it. I mean, I can put people down.
mhm.
And not because I want to, just because I have some strange, weird tolerance. I don't know what that is, where I can, and I like the taste of it. So it's not like I'm drinking to get drunk. It's literally like, man, this is good. And then all of a sudden, everybody around me is passed out and sick. And I'm like, where's the party? Anyway, okay. So I'm not doing dry January. I think that's the takeaway
Ever.
ever.
I mean, you never say never. Every time I say never, something happens.
Oh my
Like,
God, never say never.
right?
Tomorrow I could get a phone call from my doctor that says I have a liver. I will be so pissed. I knock on myself. I'm not inviting that karma. I just don't want to do it right now. Anyway, okay. So we have 7 minutes.
So what's
What?
your goal? What are your goals, or what is your gift for yourself? What are some of the gifts that you want to
Oh,
give
that's
yourself
fun.
this year?
I love these gifts. Okay. So on a personal level, my gifts, I have a lot of gifts. Well, I don't really have a lot of gifts that I'm giving to myself personally, but the intermittent fasting has been a gift for me,
Okay.
because intermittent fasting has allowed me to eat foods and live a life that I would like to live, and still be able to do that without continuously gaining weight. And it's not even about the gaining of the weight, like, it's more like it was so uncomfortable. I had all these IBS issues. I all of a sudden don't have a waist anymore. It's all
Mhm.
boob and belly. And and all the working out in the world wasn't stopping it. And I'm still like, oh, I can't eat that. So the intermittent fasting is a gift that I'm giving to myself, as well as, okay, so when I got on the intermittent fasting, I was in a situation where I was eating foods I shouldn't be eating, because
Mhm.
not healthier choices, because it was
Mhm.
such a honeymoon. So the gift
Mhm.
I'm giving to myself, again, as far as food choices, is adding more fruits and vegetables. I'm on the Arbonne system right now. This, like, it's a 30-day detox,
Mhm.
but it's basically, greens and skin elixirs and detox teas. And I love it. I feel great. I feel really,
Okay.
really great. And my shakes. The On a professional level, I'm giving myself the gift of making more of an impact in our community.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm giving myself more of an opportunity to do some creative work marketing wise, and possibly get into a studio.
I love that. I see that.
I want that so bad.
Okay.
Okay, how about you?
Me. God,
Hmm.
whenever we throw it back at me, I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
You're like, oh, she's like that, so then she's like, oh, so decisive, and and you're like, man, and then you throw it at her. She's like, I don't know. All
I
right,
don't
go
know.
ahead.
Yeah, I can do it for everybody else but myself. Um,
You too.
I think the gift I'm going to give myself is a little bit more travel. I mean, we have
Oh yeah,
Paris set up, but more like it's more stamps on my passport.
I like that.
So that's one. And then like on a personal level, okay, that is the personal level. On a professional level, that I continue to, every once in a while I fall into that trap where I feel like I should have done this already. I should have been here already. So I'm
Yeah,
giving myself that gift where uh, I've learned that a 3-month timeline for me is more efficient,
right,
more I can do it for everybody else, like professionally, like when I'm working at my job, I always have a 3-month timeline and work backwards.
right,
So for me to do that, I just started doing it and I like it. It's less stressful for me. It's
right,
less um beating myself up. And I think
right.
when it comes down to it is I'm tired of beating myself up.
Yeah,
So I'm not doing that anymore. And it's more of a three, a more acceptable, planned out, well thought out pace. And I think Paris was that for me, taught me that. And I liked it that I got back on that.
yeah,
And it was, you know what I mean? We kind of like, it was more forgiving, I guess, the schedule and um, organizing it and the pace fit into everything else that's going on in my life.
right,
Because we think, okay, we have this, but then we forget we've got parents, kids, grandkids, or I have grandkids, a job, clients, and all these things that
right,
are part of my daily.
right,
And so plugging things in a 3-month period
right.
makes and it goes by fast.
Like ridiculously fast.
Uh-huh. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I accomplished the goals
Right,
rather than, or the wish list rather than going, oh, I'm a failure. So that's my gift to myself is allowing myself more time, allowing myself to like accomplish things, but in a way that nothing else gets thrown to the wayside. Like what you were saying, like everything gets, take away. Well, I had to give up something else in order to make this happen.
Right.
And I don't have to do that if I'm giving myself a little bit more time, and realistic
Right.
time frame or
Right.
timeline.
And
So,
and you had talked to me about that myself, like
mhm,
for me even, and that is a huge thing. So I actually did that on Monday. I made a timeline for myself. The other, because I'm the all, I go in, da, 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 da. But the one thing I like that you said that I'm going to take away too is really giving yourself some grace in a lot of ways. But the one that I think that I need to do and I want to do is allow
yeah,
myself to be me, in the sense that I know I need more downtime. I know I need more sleep.
mhm,
I know how I'm the most effective. And I've been trying to be somebody else. I've been trying to be somebody else's early bird. I've been trying to be, someone else's ideal of a healthy, successful person, right, on their
mhm,
timeline. And it wasn't working for me. It never did work for me. So
mhm,
and also I know what you said, the kids, the family, like we were late today getting on because I was on with my mom. My mom's getting older. She needs a lot of help with things. My kids are needing me a lot, everybody
mhm,
does. And so
mhm,
you have to be flexible. And that's we don't live in a society that supports that, but we
mhm,
don't have to um push it either, right? Like
mhm,
we can be very realistic about things like that.
mhm,
And how happy are you going to be at the end of the day, or the end of this lifetime, to say, oh, I did all of these things, but you know what, I wasn't there for my mom when she, in her last few days, and I wasn't there for hey, we have to wrap up. Well, I didn't get to do this with my kids, and you know what I'm saying.
mhm,
So you're right, like chill out, chill
mhm.
out a little bit.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can accomplish that, but give yourself, instead of 2 weeks, give yourselves 2 months.
Well, you're really good about that, and I'm
Mhm,
learning to do that. I'm learning to do that a lot,
mhm,
because it goes back to what, you want to do everything right now, but again, you can't. And also, so what happens in 2 weeks if you don't get it done? What happens in 2 months? It's going to come
mhm.
anyway. Okay, we need to wrap this sucker up. What's our takeaway? Okay, they're just kisses. Goodbye. All right.
Oh,
Good takeaway.
I think we did. I think we were just talking about our gifts,
Okay.
to ourselves. I think, as well as we know, again, being more true to ourselves is what you were saying too. I think that's super important, and not measuring ourselves up, for this, for our goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Comparing, oh, I should be here at this time, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I think New Year, or, and eliminating that whole resolution type bullshit from our vocabulary, because it just, anyone that's been around a few times around the sun will tell you, um, very rarely do they work, or are they sustainable.
They're usually not sustainable because you're trying to
Mhm,
be somebody that you're not,
mhm,
you know. Okay. All right. We're going to sign off. Again, if you like us, hit the likey button. If you hit the bell, because that's how you're going to find out about us. Subscribe to our channel. Share us. Share us. Spread us around, because we don't know how to do it.
mhm,
And that's another one of, real fast. That's another one of my gifts to both of us, is I'd like to do a little bit more with this, get us on the podcast, the Spotify's,
mhm,
whatever, the iPad podcast,
mhm.
whatever they have there on those iPad things, which is a foreign country to me. All right.
Gift would be to find out what exactly that is.
I tried researching it, but it's
Mhm,
not, they don't speak my language just yet.
mhm.
So I have to figure this out. Okay.
So your, I guess then, goal or setting under timeline is we spend January and February figuring out which platform.
I think so. Yeah, because,
Okay.
well, you and I can talk about that when, not today,
Mhm,
because I have to go get Fifi, but I did do some research on that. And,
mhm.
okay. I don't know what exactly man, but I figured it out. All right. So, but I have words. I have words that I read. Okay. Um, love you.
Love you.
I always love our talks.
I know. Thank you so much. I always feel so much better after we talk.
I know. Me too. Me too. Okay. Happy New Year, everyone. You can put likes, comments, what have you. And again, we're always happy to get your input in terms of topics, because believe me, if you're thinking about it, so are we.
Mhm.
Okay, bye.
Love